y'all? It's your girl Michelle and Nate with Christ Over Culture, and I'm talking to Mo Better Brews today. I'm so excited because we have the lovely Chasitie and Courtney, husband and wife team, co-founder extravaganza of Mo Better Brews, and you all have just built such an incredible vegan empire here in the city of Houston. So excited to have you on the show, and welcome.
Thank you for having us. Happy to be here.
Of course. Okay, so let's hop right into it. I know that you all are college sweethearts. Is that right?
Something like that.
Yeah, not really.
Okay, like college friends turn sweethearts. So
there you go.
Why don't you let our audience know how you all met and the trip that maybe changed it all for you?
Okay. You want his version of the truth?
Oh.
No, I always speak the truth.
Go ahead. I'll let you I'll let you tell it.
So it started in Theater 101 in Dr. Milan's son's class at Texas Southern University. The first time so I had made a pact with my friend that we was going, do good in school, gonna get good grades, and be just more accountable for each other, as far as our academics. And so I was eager to start that semester, and we was waiting around for the professor to come, and he was late. And so everybody started trying to leave, and I
was part of that crowd.
And I found the door. I'm like, hey, the class is over here, and
we was all mad at him. Like, why would you go look for the teacher? Who is this dude?
Like, who looks for the teacher? You supposed to go.
We was all on one accord.
I'm trying to be studious. Right? Yeah, I'm trying to get my grades right. And so that first day we had to do a skit. And in that skit, I took it upon myself to kind of self-lead the skit or the group. And she played my wife in the skit. And ever since then, we just been real good friends. And so she was like one of my best friends, girlfriends at school. So she was like my little sister. She hate when I say that, but
because it's weird now.
Because I used to tell people nah, man, that's my sister. You can't talk to her.
I'm like, are you younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was protective, and I couldn't even talk to nobody. That's
But I wasn't even looking at her like that. So the cool part about it is God shielded my eyes until she was ready for me, as a wife. So that's the cool
until
part.
You was ready for me.
Until I was ready for yeah, exactly.
He wasn't ready.
Oh, no, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Wow. And then you went to the Army.
Yep.
Right?
Went to the Army after graduation.
You know your stuff.
Went to the Army after graduation, and that's for me. That's when I really started to change and really just kind of seek God for myself. As an adult, and I would write her back and forth. And prior to that, we tried to date just a little bit. It was kind of weird, so we was like, hey, let's just forget about that and just go back to being friends.
Tell it all. We wasn't equally yoked.
No. She said the next person she date is gonna be her husband, and she not wasting time. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm fine with just being my you being my little sister again. I'm cool with that. But it really what. Cause she all right. Cause she don't never let me.
Chasitie got something to say.
She never lets me make it. She never lets me make it. But anyway, so I was like, I'm fine with that, And then just as time kind of progressed, I was like, all right, bet I need to be able to cut loose all of these other, friends, women, whatever, cause I need to be able to focus on my relationship with God. And for some reason, she was still there, and I was reading a book about courtship. And then, so I called her and I said, hey, you want to enter into a courtship with me?
That's not church language,
look,
courtship.
You're trying to figure it out, right?
Yes.
And so she was like,
I love that though.
You know what? Yeah, sure. And then she's like, so now we go together. I said, wait a minute. We go together? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, so is that what that means?
Courtship is when you date with the intention of marriage.
Well, I know that now. But yeah, so I was being taught then, and that's how it started. So
wow, that's amazing. And Chasitie, you right off the bat said initially y'all weren't equally yoked. How did you know that?
Being his friend for 4 or 5 years, and he was the frat boy, all the girls and stuff, and we were friends, so he didn't hold back on telling me everything, and I would always he to this day he was like, I don't know how you was my friend, and I would just tell him, hey, you need to do this, you need to work on that, and he'd just be like, girl, live a little, so. By the time he tried to pursue me, I was just like, I just can't see it. I can't see it. And, we, like you said, we had tried to, talk
to the movies
a few times, and it just wasn't right. And when he went out to the other side of when he went to the Army and he was writing me letters and I saw that he was, developing his own relationship, that's when I was fasting and praying and the Lord put him on my heart. And I was like, this man done asked me twice, to try. And I doubt he asked me again. But if he does, I'll know it's from the Lord. And that was when he asked me about the courtship. So that's how it panned out.
Yeah, that sounds divine, you know, like that on the third time.
On the third time. Yeah.
It happened.
Ain't that something?
So how does this kind of transpire into your life and business? So you all get married and you decide, along the way you want to start a business together. How has that like friendship and that the fact that you all are in tune and you have God at the helm, how does that kind of help guide your decision making as you're thinking like, let's start a business? What were those conversations like?
Man, I think we always had that, and that's why we were friends in college, because we were always brainstorming. We were in radio, television, film, and so we were coming up with ideas for movies and just all kind of shows and stuff. College cooking with Courtney.
Yeah, all our classes, we had all our classes together.
So we always have been in that mode, and so I think naturally we knew we weren't meant to just work for somebody, even though that was never like discussed initially. But we just kind of fell into it, by God's grace. And so the way this place kind of came about is, our love for film. Like I said, we took radio, television, film, Spike Lee, Mo Better Brews, and the inspiration behind that, and just kind of capturing his love for cooking, my love for music and vinyl as a former DJ. And, it just came together.
Oh, I love that. And so, Courtney, you mix in with the food. I heard that you were watching some Food Network channels and got the cooking bug. So tell us about that and your first company with the sauce.
Yeah. So, I really started, I was cooking in college, right?
Yeah, your show.
Yeah. Even that, that was fun. But when I first invited Chasitie over as a friend, I was like, hey, I'm making some, guacamole with some, at my apartment. You want to come over? And she was like, yeah, I'll come. And so that was the first time that we hung out, like just not at school. And again, all innocent, like them blinders was on, so, but, that was just that first introduction. So like I used to cook for different groups at school, like for like University Program Council. We have to meet and we're like, oh, we'll just meet in my house and I'll cook. And so that became the common trend. And then I would cook for my family, and watching Food Network, just really like learning how to like develop my palate, learning how to plate, learning just tapping into other forms of like creative ways of cooking. And when I got out of the military, trying to figure out exactly where I wanted to go, right? So I know I wanted to go to culinary school or own a food truck or restaurant someday. And when I got to the military, I was already bet, so I'm going to culinary school. So I did that, and I worked at Max's Wine Dive was my first restaurant. And I realized that I didn't really know too much.
It's until you hop into the fire that you know what you're working with.
So the chef was like, all right, do this mise en place. And right, so just cutting up the vegetables and doing all that stuff. I'm like, all right, I can do that. That ain't nothing. I'm hacking this stuff up. And she say, what is this? This is not mise en place. You can't do. So I'm like, okay, I thought I was doing a good job, And so, but basically I went in there and just learned, And so by the time I got to culinary school a few months later, I was running circles around everybody. So with everything that I had learned on my own from watching Food Network and also being, in a high volume restaurant, and then going to, and then it was a small restaurant too. So I'm elbow to elbow getting burnt and, just bumping into stuff. And then by the time I got to culinary school, and it's like this vast, like warehouse of a kitchen that we just can have our full reign of everything. Like I was a beast. And so
on it every time I was a beast.
Okay, I know that's right.
I was good.
On it.
But yeah, so Food Network is where I really got my bit my chops.
Yeah. So you all talked about how you started your business. You had the idea, but how did you finance your business?
So basically, that's an important question.
Very important.
Initially, with the hot sauce company, we just took whatever money we had, extra money that we had.
That's when we was working our real jobs.
Yeah, that's when we was working. Yeah.
Full-time job.
Sometimes your real job have to fund your dream job.
Exactly. So we had, and then we started off small. We never bid off too much or more than we can chew. Some companies like, oh, well, you got to start off with 10,000 bottles of hot sauce. We're like, I don't know 10,000 bottles of hot sauce. We can't even afford 10,000 bottles of hot sauce. And so we just found a company that was able to work with us and kind of grow with us and allow us to kind of move at our own pace. With the food truck, we had money saved up, but we also know that we needed more. So I was able to get a loan for about $20,000. Bought a food truck for $12,000. Put maybe about $6,000 into the truck in terms of like fixing it, and then also I was my own handyman. Like I was doing the plumbing, I was doing electricity, I was doing all that. So I had a cousin that built food trucks, and he was like, well, yeah, you got access to everything in my shop. And I'm sitting there thinking, you're not gonna do this? Help me with this. Like, let me pay you something. He was like, no, I don't want your money.
Wait, you have a cousin that knows how to build food trucks, but he was like, here, you do it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want your money.
You can use this. Use my tools.
Yeah. And so once I finished, he was like, now, ain't you glad I taught you how to fish? I'm like, God, dog, man.
Hey, those lessons.
But I had everything that I needed. I had tools. I had, maybe him to come take a look and say, hey, you need to do this and that. I'm like, all right, cool. So I thugged that out. And then with the restaurant, we were also in the process of building another food truck out, which we were paying for with the proceeds that it was coming from our previous food truck. And then I think we took about $24,000 of our money, and then we reached out to other people that could invest. And so we were able to get secure an investment. Nothing crazy, but it was about $150,000. Nothing like outlandish, because we know that it really takes about $700 to actually start a restaurant from scratch.
$700,000.
That's at the very least. That's an
important number.
Yeah, around about $700.
If you want to come out, ready.
You gotta be right? Because you gotta have like reserves. You gotta have at least 3 to 6 months, and I'm being very modest on that. 6 months worth of reserve cash to be able to cover if anything. If you don't make money in that first couple months, or if something happens, you gotta make sure you have reserves. Then you got inventory. Just so many.
And we
things
learned all of this the hard
while
way.
we were working on it.
Really?
The hard way. Which is why now he offers consulting to teach people how to start their own food business. And so we've had quite a few people sign up for that, and he's giving them free game. Well, I ain't gonna say free game, but it's good. But it's learning from the mistakes.
Yeah. You gotta make sure that you start out with the right funds, and then also start out with a bookkeeper or an accountant early on, because there's nothing like taking a big messy, like files and envelopes and be like, here you go, here go all the receipts, take everything you can, and they just like, can we start over?
Wow.
So get you an accountant first to start from the beginning, and then also make sure that you have enough capital, reserve capital, startup capital, and reserve capital for when that rainy day comes, because it's coming.
And I would also add, apply for those grants.
Yep.
There's a lot of business startup grants, or if you've been established for a year or two, you can even qualify for even more grants. We've gotten a grant recently to get a new catering van. We've gotten a grant to do some marketing. So I've been applying for grants left and right. Thanks to my friend, she acquired like over $200,000 worth of grants in like 2 years, and I was like, show me how. So get with somebody that knows how to, apply for those things and get after it, because that's very helpful too.
Yeah, that's super helpful. I'm glad y'all shared that. So let's talk about some of your early wins in business. What were some early wins when it came to Mo Better Brews?
Ooh, some early wins.
Honestly, just being up. So honestly, it took us. We opened this place up. We flipped it. Opened this place up in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Okay, tell us more.
It was supposed to be originally a food truck, a food trailer.
Food trailer. So how'd you get from food trailer to brick and mortar in 3 weeks? Man,
it wasn't nobody but God. So we already was making plans for the food trailer. We were getting we had a coffee guy come out and kind of size up the inside for like the coffee equipment and things like that. And so we was telling them more about the concept, and he pulled me to the side. He was like, hey, this seems like it would be a good brick and mortar. Would you be interested in taking this to a brick and mortar idea instead? And so I told my husband, and we were like, yeah, like what so he told us about this place that recently closed. And so immediately we met the owner, and he was like, yeah, how soon can you get this going? Like, I'm ready to step back and put y'all in. And we was just like, 3 weeks. I said 3 weeks. And I mean, it was a Hawaiian theme. It looked completely different, y'all. Like, I'm talking about fish and surfboards on the wall. It was completely different. And but by God's grace, man, we came in, we got our team together, put our stuff up, painted, and got it looking.
Yeah, we came in with the work, and it was really like, you had to clean the kitchen because it was meat before, and so we just really had to just do a deep clean, pull everything out. It was we just came to work, it took us 3 weeks was only supposed to be the soft opening, but it was Juneteenth too. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to like push for that Juneteenth date, and then so once Juneteenth got here, we was like, hey, we might well just stay open. Don't tell nobody we open, but we just stay open quietly, No,
Juneteenth was the actual grand opening.
Yeah, and that was 2021.
So did we open that first?
We opened the week before soft opening, really? And then Juneteenth was the grand opening. I remember because the line was wrapped.
Yeah.
Okay, praise God for that line.
That was the first win, right? Like when people showed up and we weren't ready.
Nah, we weren't ready.
Did you market it? Like, of course, you all already had a following. You talked about your DJ career
through our trucks, because prior to opening the restaurant, we had 4 trucks at that point. Three trucks at that point. And then we opened a 4th truck while we were, I don't know what we was thinking.
Y'all were going.
It's him. He loves a lot of stuff.
I want to put all the irons in the fire, and one of them going to be hot.
But we ended up closing them down because we was like, okay, we need to focus on this. But yeah, that was one of the early wins for sure, is just the people that showed up, man. Like, it's like they had been waiting for us to pop out with a brick and mortar. And that was one of the most beautiful. We had people fly in town and surprise us. Like, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment, yeah.
It was a lot of work.
Even the owner, him and his wife came and brought a plant. They saw all the commotion and the line and all the cars. It's like, this is the best decision we ever made.
It doesn't that feel good when it was like it felt good on either side of the transfer? Like, this is exactly what it was supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's beautiful. Now let's talk about your vegan menu. I was blessed, let me tell you. Blessed to have the chicken, fried shrooms, and grits.
Yes. That's the top.
You couldn't have told me that was mushrooms. I was like, this is chicken. This is some of the best battered mushroom chicken I've had in my life. Yeah. Tell me about this menu, and mind blowing. It's exceptional.
So prior to just having this brunch spot, we would always look for places to go eat brunch. Yeah. And we always end up getting potato hash or getting like avocado toast or something like that. And so the menu itself is just a combination of me using classic techniques to achieve the same outcome as I would if I was cooking a piece of chicken or a piece of steak or anything else like that. So if I say we're gonna have chicken fried shrooms, it's gonna taste like chicken fried shrooms, and it's gonna be delicious, and it's gonna make you feel good whether you're a meat eater or a vegan or vegetarian. And so with the grits, I take my time, I layer the grits. So you got like garlic in there. So we make our own garlic cream. We make everything that we need to like build those flavors. I build those flavors in vegan food, and it comes through when it comes to texture, again, when it comes to flavor, when it comes to what it looks like. And I feed people's eyes first, then their nose, then also the taste buds. So anything on that menu is definitely coming from a place of making sure that she stays vegan. One.
That's how it started.
Oh yeah, you had to have some good alternatives.
The menu was built out of me saying, "Hey, make this happen, or I'm gonna go."
I want gumbo. I'm like, I can't make no vegan gumbo. And she's talking about,
Yes, you can. You better figure it out.
Yes.
And he did.
Oh, booty and balls. And this is like, all right, bet. So we, and then with the sauce company, how we started, we just wanted to keep making like bomb sauces. So with the collard wings, so every sauce that we made is, in-house and it came out great. So.
Wow. So right now, actively, you have Mo Better Brews, you have your sauce company, and your food trucks. Are you still operating?
So no food trucks.
No food trucks.
Just sauces and Mo Better Brews.
Okay, good. Because I know you all had the food trucks and Almeida and the green space for a very long time. So, I know that the pandemic did a lot in the food business, and then you all are a husband and wife company. Can you just share with me how you all work together, and then in stressful times, good times, how you guys kind of partner and meet with the minds? Like, how does that work?
Well, stress is definitely going to be there, and it's definitely going to be some hard times. There's going to be some hard decisions that we have to make. For instance, we had to make the decision whether or not to close that first food truck or not, Chaz was like, listen, man, sometimes God wants you to open your hands up, let some stuff go so you can receive more. I'm just like, man, I don't want to hear, but I need to hear because, I'm running myself in the ground. I was tired. And so we had to make the decision to go ahead and close that food truck. And then in the great times, times are good. They're good. Everybody rocking. We having fun. And I think that for me and Chasitie, we try to make sure that we create spaces and time for ourselves together as a family and our two boys so that we can just breathe, and then we come back and we're gonna get back to work. So
yeah, and we make it a point now to plan once a week. We write out our list, go down, keep track. We do an annual planning at the beginning of every year, and that's been extremely helpful. And that lets us know what our goals are for each quarter. And then we just, week after week, we're just tracking and making sure we stand in accomplishing those visions that we casted earlier in the year. But for the most part, like we're able to find that balance. Sometimes he might want to bring up something when I'm trying to go to sleep about business. He knows my brain shuts off at a certain time, so I don't know why he does it.
Mine's still going.
But he's still going. But when we've been married almost 14 years, and so after being together so long, you kind of learn each other, and you learn the do's, the don'ts, the wins, the win nots. So I think it's just learning your spouse, and once you learn your spouse and how they tick, then that's a big piece. That's a huge piece. Actually.
And even after you learn them, I'm like, you don't want to hear me. We don't hear what I want to talk about right now, do you? No, I don't. I'm like, all right, fine then. Just go ahead, deflate for a little bit. But then I'd be like, but, so-and-so. And she like, man, I thought we wasn't talking about this right now. I'm like, but I want to talk, so.
Mm-hmm. So learning your spouse, knowing the wins, but then also it sounds like honesty.
Oh, absolutely.
Being very transparent and making space for talking about it. Don't just wait for problems to arise, but kind of getting ahead of it. You know what I'm saying? So we're pretty good about just checking in and making sure we're on the same page, because there's a lot of room for the enemy to have you not on the same page. Mm-hmm. And so it took some time for us to get there, but after a while, it's like, okay. Safe space, that's our thing. Like, safe space, can I say what I really want to say right now without you feeling away?
And that's everything. It's business, life, everything.
Mm-hmm. So what should people know before going into this type of business, whether it's food truck? I mean, Courtney, you mentioned the food truck business, how that was taking a toll on you. I would love to dive into that a little bit more, like what that was. Like, what should people be knowing before they get into this?
What they should know and believe that it's not easy. It's hard work, especially if you don't have like a real like team, around you. I think that's one of the biggest things is like we didn't really have a team. It was just me. And then I had my aunt was helping me. I had a cousin, and Chasitie would do what she did, but she also had, our kids, taking care of those guys. And so it was just like really having a team. So I used to prep and work the truck, but I couldn't do both all the time. So I would have my days that I prep. The days that I prep, I wasn't working the truck. Like I was just prepping in the kitchen. And then I would prep just for working one day on the truck. Then the next day I would prep again. So it was just alternating days, and it's like, okay, it worked, but I could have made more money, or could have been out there better, or could have made better use of my time if I had a good team. So if I had a team just dedicated just to prep, and then a team dedicated just to work in the truck, it could work. Again, just the same way as it is here. Like, you got to make sure that you got a team that you can actually step off and do other stuff. Because as entrepreneurs, like, our mind never stop cranking. And you never stop really thinking of other stuff, or how to improve your business, how to be more profitable, how to fix a problem or issue. And if you got to cook, clean, do all the admin, do all the other stuff.
You can't work on your business if you're working in your business.
Yeah,
is what I always hear. Yeah.
So I really had to like find that balance and build a good, strong, solid team to be like, hey, I need to go. I'm about to be gone for a week, or I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and really be like, okay, fine, I can take a little vacation, But with the truck and this, in the early stages, I wasn't able to do that. So basically, I would be here, halfway cooking most of the time in the kitchen, and then the truck will call and be like, oh, we ran out of so-and-so, or we don't know how to make this. And I'm like, what? And so like I would have to run down the street, go do something and tell them, and then she'll be like, well, are you working hard today? I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. But sure enough, I end up in the kitchen, in behind somebody's grill.
Covered in flour.
It didn't matter what kind of clothes I had on. She'd be like, don't wear those shoes, to work in. I'm like, I ain't gonna do real work today. Because I knew he was
gonna end up working.
I'm like, and I'd be like, I'm not doing real work today, I promise, and come back, shoes covered in flour. She like, that's why I don't buy you,
He's come so far, because now he delegates, and we have an amazing team that holds it down for us here at the restaurant. So, to God be the glory, because this man was, I think you just got old and tired.
Oh, man.
He finally got tired. That's what happened.
Yeah, it is tiresome.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard. I've heard, just kitchen work is hard work on your body. So the fact that you were here at your brick and mortar spot, then going to the food truck and coming back and running, all the business, like that can definitely mentally, physically, like emotionally, relationally, I can only imagine the tug that is pulling.
It was tough.
So what are some key elements, now that we've kind of talked about some of the challenges, a few of the lessons learned, having a good team, what are some of the key elements you should have in your business if you want to have longevity? You guys have been doing this, I know, at least as early as 2017, even before that. So how do you have longevity? So many businesses close.
You have to have a good accountant.
Okay.
An attorney.
Okay.
And a good team, a good management team, because you can have a good accountant and an attorney and have a terrible management staff, and your business running itself into the ground. You can have a great management team and no accountant, and then you don't know where your money at. You know what I mean? It's just like you got to have that balance of all those parts.
I would add marketing, because you can have the best food in the city, and if nobody sees it or knows about it, they're not gonna show up.
Yeah, how do you think about marketing? Especially, we talked about TikTok a little bit.
Yeah, so that's essentially my role with our businesses. It's just kind of running the socials and the websites and coordinating, TV shows and things like that. I think that's part of the reason that we've had so much success, is just being able to capture the food, being able to capture the personalities behind the food, because people want to connect with not just what you're selling, but the people that are actually, and so people get a feel for who we are, and they see us in here and, hey, how you doing? It's like family. And so I love that we're able to tap in with the community and continue to promote ourselves as people that are advocating for healthy food and vegan food in the city. So we're going to continue to do that, and that's
marketing.
That's marketing right there.
That's marketing. So, what advice would you give somebody? You all have talked a lot about faith today in your, it's just interwoven, which is what I love. I can feel it in everything that you do. So if somebody is hesitant to step out there and take a leap of faith in entrepreneurship or doing what God has called them to do, maybe listening and hearing the right spouse, whatever it is, what would you say to someone who might be hesitant to step out on faith and do what God has called them to do?
Just move, just start walking, if I had an idea, and I never acted or moved on an idea. We wouldn't be sitting right here talking. You know, I always was cooking and doing catering and all kind of stuff like that. So when the opportunity came for me to actually get a food truck, all right, I told Chasitie I had got laid off from being a physician recruiter. Great company, you know. It was a good company. The company was growing too fast, and the money issues was in the company, right? And then so I'm looking, of course, you know, putting my resume out there, you know, all this good stuff, and I just had a feeling, you know, and I told Chaz, I said, hey, man, I feel like God is pushing me not to go back to work, you know, for somebody. And she was like, oh, I'm glad you said it, because I was feeling the same way. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna do this then, right? yeah, let's go do it. And a week later, somebody called me. It's like, yeah, you know, I just want to offer you the position. It's a, you know, director level position. You know, you can be remote. This was back before people wasn't working from home. You know, like pre-COVID. And it's like, oh yeah, it's remote. You have an office here. You could do this. And I was just thinking like the benefits, steady paycheck. You know, like all of the things that we think about security. You know, I'm like, let me call you right back. I called Chasitie. I said, hey, listen, these people just called me this position. Woo, woo. She said, well, you didn't accept it, did you? I said, no, I was just calling you first. Bye.
Okay. On the same page.
Exactly. And so I said, hey, yeah, I'm not available. What? You're not available? I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm not available. It's like, okay.
Wow.
And so I would say just move on it, just act on it. Plan, but move and act on it. So
and add prayer to the mix. I
prayer,
did a lot of praying. I don't even know if he know how much praying I was doing behind the scenes. Because, you know, one of the things I believe is that, you know, my husband should be the lead and I'll follow and everything. But sometimes, you know, husbands don't be making the decisions that, you know, wives think they should make. And so that was challenging for me in the beginning, with some of the different directions he wanted to take. And so instead of complaining and all that, which I think I did a little bit of that too, but I did a lot of prayer, and a lot of times we end up just where we needed to be. So I feel like I definitely gotta shout out prayer, because that's an important piece to the puzzle.
Yeah, love that. Well, thank you all so much for sitting with me today.
Thank you so much.
I've enjoyed
Appreciate
it. And definitely make sure that you all check out Mo Better Brews. Where can people follow you and learn more about your business?
For sure. You can follow us at Mo Better Brews HTX on Instagram, mobetterbrews.com.
Awesome. All right, y'all. This has been Christ Over Culture. I'm your host, Michelle Lene. Make sure you follow us on ChristOverCulture.com, on all the socials at Christ Over Culture, and make sure that you go out there, step out on faith. You've heard Chasitie and Courtney. They now have their businesses, but most importantly, each other in God. So until next time, we'll see you soon.